Wizards is really dumping stuff on us today. Plenty of mythics and rares, mostly rares, announced today, and a few uncommons that I felt were worth mentioning. Goblins are looking pretty ferocious. Probably going to be a top 8 in standard at least, and pushing some craziness in modern. But let's get into it. Legion's End. Exile target creature an opponent controls with converted mana cost 2 or less, and all other creatures that player controls with the same name as that creature. But it gets a little better. Then that player reveals their hand and exiles all cards with that name from their hand and graveyard. Wow. So here's definitely getting rid of them. Great against token brews because anything token, it counts. We'll see you. Your tokens, bye-bye. It's gone. It's great for his token brews and also against anything tribal, especially those anything that's 2 converted mana cost or less. Your goblins, your elves, your humans. I mean, the list kind of goes on and on and on. This could be a very, very powerful spell, especially with decks that want to spam wide with tokens and whatnot. Beautiful answer for those kind of decks. I do like it, and I do like it a lot. Now, it's not going to be able to answer everything, because it's only with the converted mana cost 2 or less. Let's say Dragon Tribal. Well, good luck with that. It's not going to work out too well. Unchained Berserker. Different kind of art on this one. But pretty slick though, nonetheless. I want to see those little chains lighten up with the foliage. But it's a 2-drop. I wanted to mention this one because of protection from white. When was the last time we've seen anything with protection from white? Or protection, for that matter. When was the last time we saw the word protection from a specific color on a Magic card? It's been a long time. It is a deuce drop, but what that means exactly, this creature can't be blocked, targeted, dealt damage, enchanted, or equipped by anything white. Pretty cool. Amazing sideboard card against white. Unchained Berserker gets +2/+0 as long as it's attacking. Really, really cool. And then we have Pulse of Marasa over here. It's a 3-drop. Return target creature or land card from a graveyard to its owner's hand. You gain 6 life. Decent. It's dece. It is dece. Leyline of Anticipation. Here we go. This is a big one. All the ley lines, I don't know about every single one of them, but it looks like the majority of them are getting reprinted. And there is a new one as well. This is Leyline of Anticipation. This card was even upwards to $25 not long ago, my heart goes out to people, somewhat, because I've been victim of this myself. You buy like 100 copies of something, you're hoping, there's no reprint, and then boom, it gets reprinted. And you're like, oh, man. So now your $1,000 investment now just turned into $200 and you're out money. A lot of money. Well, that's the way the cookie crumbles. I can't really feel too bad because there is something called the reserve list. And the reserve list keeps cards safe from being reprinted. But it doesn't keep cards safe from being printed similar to a card on the reserve list, which is kind of wacky. But yeah, there's been cards recently that are very close to some on the reserve list, but not exactly worded the same. Moving forward, though, my heart goes out a little bit to you guys. But Leyline of Anticipation was a more expensive card, now dropping in price. With the whole new mulligan rule, cards like the Wizards had to have a heads up, okay? They had to know they're going to implement the new mulligan rule because they didn't just create these cards within a few days. What has it been, a week or two now since the new mulligan was actually announced that they will be using the new mulligan going forward. So they didn't have a whole lot of time, to just say, okay, let's print up M20. No, they knew about this a long time in advance. So the new mulligan rule was going to be implemented no matter what, it seemed, if you ask me, which is kind of strange. But moving on. All right, so you may cast spells as though they had flash. And you can also drop this card if it's in your opening hand. Pretty sweet. You don't got to pay the cost, which is really nice. That's what makes these cards shine. Really cool card. There's a lot more, plenty more ley lines to come. Hanged Executioner is a 3-drop. Creature Spirits. It's got the flying. This is not bad. It's not bad for standard, I think. When Hanged Executioner enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. So already you're getting 2 bodies for 1. But also consider the bounce thing. You can bounce this thing because whenever an Executioner enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token. If you continuously just bounce this thing or find some crazy endless trigger, there are some endless ways to bounce, and you can just spam a bunch of tokens like this, I think some exist in standard right now. I'm surprised I didn't use them for an example. But also, for 4, exile Hanged Executioner, exile target creature. So you can get rid of something pretty big and threatening on the other side of the board once this thing is no more use to you, But that's pretty nice that you have a removal there, and it's a mana sink. You can do something with it. Cards that probably go well with, or decent with, I'm not getting too crazy, but just a couple examples of some of this power right now that's in standard. Supreme Phantom, other spirit creatures you control get +1/+1. Pretty cool. So now you automatically have you have two 2/2s when this thing hits the battlefield. That's pretty sweet. And then you have the new Eagle over here. Other creatures you control with flying get +1/+1. That's pretty scary stuff, man. Flying creatures are going to be a huge threat, and spirits might be a big threat as well. And this we're going to see. And of course, yeah, bounce to spam the tokens from this guy right here. Absolutely. But to think about going in modern or something, you got stuff like Spell Queller, Drogskull Captain, Kira Great Glass Spinner. I'm not sure how much room there's going to be, for this new spirit card. But yeah, and don't even think about replacing Lingering Souls. Just throwing some stuff out there. Yeah, it's a powerful card that we're getting, but not that powerful in comparison. Field of the Dead. This thing is interesting. Field of the Dead enters the battlefield tapped. I hate those cards to begin with, but it's got some pretty cool upside. You can tap it and add a colorless mana. But the big upside, whenever Field of the Dead or another land enters the battlefield under your control, if you control 7, that's a lot, guys, gals, 7 or more lands with different names, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. In Standard, I don't know how big that's going to be. I think in Standard, that's going to be, it's just too slow. I mean, now, yeah, there are gate decks out there, of course. If you're running gate decks, maybe throw one of these in there. I don't know, see what happens. Throw a couple of them in there. But outside of that, really, I mean, are you really going to be able to hit that? Because you have to have 7 or more lands for this thing to start working. But once it does, anytime another land enters the battlefield, once you got those 7 lands out, and then you keep dropping lands, you can keep spamming out tokens. And there's ways you could dump a bunch of your lands into the graveyard and then drop a bunch of lands as well, different cards. I mean, this could possibly be something. Actually, right now, it might be something in Standard. I'm not even sure. I don't know about competitive but definitely with shenanigans, you can definitely have some fun with this card. There's no doubt about it. Outside, Commander, yeah, you could probably see one of these in Commander decks. I don't see why not. Anytime a land enters, you get a perk out of it. It's pretty cool. Overgrowth Elemental and Barkhide Troll. So I thought I'd throw a couple uncommons in here. Whenever Overgrowth Elemental enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on another target elemental you control. Whenever another creature you control dies, you gain 1 life. If that creature was an elemental, put a +1/+1 counter on Overgrowth Elemental. Yeah, this thing's probably going to get kind of annoying. I could already see it. And the right kind of builds, definitely your elemental, tribal builds. This thing is it's going to be really annoying, like that Wild Growth Walker. I think it's going to be kind of similar to that in a sense. I don't think it's going to be as powerful, but then again, could be wrong about that entirely. Then you got Barkhide Troll over here. It's a deuce drop. Barkhide Troll enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it. For 1, remove a +1/+1 counter from Barkhide Troll. Barkhide Troll gains hexproof until end of turn. So there's some new uncommons for you. Golos, tireless pilgrim. Doesn't look much like a pilgrim, but he looks like more like an artist of all colors. But it makes sense. So he does. It takes 5 to bring him out. 5 colorless, legendary artifact creature scout. I think this is going to be fun for Commander players for sure. When Golos tireless pilgrim enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a land card. Put that card onto the battlefield, tapped, and shuffle your library. Now, it's similar to Samal, I can't even say it, to the Crumb, okay? When the Crumb enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land card. Put that card on the battlefield, tapped, and shuffle your library. Where this one, you don't have to search for a basic land, it's any land. Put that card on the battlefield, tap, and shuffle your library. So there's a perk to that. You can tutor up any powerful land you need to, especially in a Commander deck. When this thing dies, then you cast it again. You're kind of benefiting You just tutor up another really powerful land, whichever you're running. Those Gaia's Cradles are wacky, man. And then oh my gosh, 1 of every color +2, exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play them this turn without paying their mana costs. That could be out of control, especially if you could find a way to fix the top few cards of your library, which there are ways to do that. And then you just use this card's ability. Bam! You can instantly just end a game like it's nothing. That could be insanity, man. Really cool card. Not sure who's better. Who wore it better? Who wore the trick better of tutoring up lands? Was it Solemn or was it Golos? You decide. Dungeon Geists. Cool artwork on this one, man. It's a 4-drop flyer. When Dungeon Geist enters the battlefield, tap target creature and opponent controls. That creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step for as long as you control Dungeon Geist. Now, there's other cards already out there, like in Demir right now, you know. And it's a hostage taker. It comes out. It basically gets put into exile temporarily. If your hostage taker is destroyed before you're able to actually cast that spell, then you're going to lose it. But, you know, it's still another way to just suppress. Yeah, it's another way to keep your opponent down, man. And Dungeon Geist is going to do something similar to that, although you can't cast a spell, you know, you don't really benefit. But this thing keeps it tapped. You keep a creature down, locked down, and tapped. And there's that other card, 3-drop. Oh, gosh, I thought about it a billion times, but I didn't put it on the screen. But when it enters the battlefield, Deputy of Detention. When it enters the battlefield, it exiles another creature on the battlefield, you know, for as long as it remains on the battlefield. So that's pretty sweet also. Then something else like this, another element of control. Why not? I mean, that's just controlling the crap out of your opponent's board state. If you had those 3 running in the same deck, ridiculous. But they are steep to cast, though. Keep that in mind. Then we have Zenith Seeker, 3-drop mythic. This thing is looking like a powerhouse for Commander, but also possibly in Standard if you're able to benefit from it. I'm not sure exactly how well you'll be able to benefit. Or if it'll be successful. You'll benefit from it, but I don't know if it's going to be a strong enough card that you can build around to be competitive, is my argument. So it's a 3-drop flying vigilance 3/3. Its ability's nuts, though. When Zenith Seeker enters the battlefield, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal an angel card, a demon card, and or a dragon card from among them and put them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. That is powerful. I mean, there are a lot, and I mean a lot, of extremely powerful demons, dragons, and angels, especially angels and demons right now in the current meta. This is redunculous. So this thing could get out of hand. It'd have to find the right synergy. I just don't think in Standard it's all there, but man, outside of Standard, people are going to have a lot of fun with this card for sure. Starfield Mystic. We're going back to Theros. There's no doubt about it. With this happening, Starfield Mystic popping out, man, he even has the look that we're going to Theros. It's all over his face, even the little glitter universe stuff swirling around. It's happening. We're going back to Theros. It's happening. It's a 2-drop creature human cleric. Enchantment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Whenever an enchantment you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on Starfield Mystic. That's pretty cool. I just thought of just the most obvious ones. Sagas would go with this nice. Any saga card, it's going to benefit your Starfield Mystic because it's going to get the +1/+1. And it's making them cheaper to even do. So the History of Benalia is only going to cost you deuce. 2 planes. That's pretty sweet. And then when the saga goes into the graveyard, you're going to get the +1/+1 on Starfield Mystic. Same for any other saga. Once it finally resolves and is all done and then it hits the graveyard, we'll see ya. You're going to benefit on your Starfield Mystic. It's really cool. So definitely can use and abuse that before it rotates out of Standard. Should be fun. Flood of Tears, 6-drop. Return all non-land permanents to their owner's hands. If you return 4 or more non-token permanents you control this way, you may put a permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. That could be kind of fun. That could be really fun, especially with some large spells that can allow you to cheat stuff into play. That's really cool. I think it's a bit pricey for what it's doing, but if you have the right permanent in your hand, man, that's going to be nuts. If you return 4 or more non-token permanents you control this way, you may put a permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. It doesn't have to be one that you just pulled up from, that you just put back into your hand. It could be one from anywhere, as long as it's in your hand. Any kind of spell. Boom. Drop that thing down. Permanent, sorry. Very, very powerful. I like it. What's that one card? I think it's 9 right now to cast. I think it's 9 or 10 to cast. 3 blue. Anytime you drop when that thing hits the battlefield, or when it's on the battlefield, you can cast spells for free from your hand. There you go. All right, combo up, man. And then you just drop everything. It could be redunculous. Really cool card, Flood of Tears. Probably not going to be a whole lot of value though. Rule of Law. This thing's cool. It was reprint. It's a reprint from 10th edition and Muradin. I like to say Muradin. Enchantment. 3-drop. Each player can't cast more than one spell each turn. That just shuts down quite a few decks. To name one, yeah, it's going to be... Why can't I think about it right now? This is nuts. I'm having a brain fart like crazy. Your Grape Shot deck. Storm builds. Sorry, guys. No edits here. We have fun. Your Storm builds. It shuts it down. If they can only cast one spell per turn. Yeah, we'll see ya. So seeing this hit standard says we're going to be in for some crazy tricks and antics. But man, White is looking like it's going to be top 8, and man, there are so many powerful spells we're getting from White decks right now. It is ridiculous. I'm liking what we're seeing, man. This is cool. This card's interesting. Punitive Wand artifact. Punitive Wand deals 1 damage to any target. Now, it's not equipment. I was hoping it was equipment, but it's not equipment. You don't equip this thing. When Punitive Wand is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, it deals 5 damage to any target. Pretty cool. Limited, maybe? I don't know. But it looks like it's interesting. I like that it deals 5 damage to any target when it does hit the battle, or when it leaves the battlefield, hits the graveyard. Could be cool. It could do some damage. 5 damage is a lot, man. I don't know. We'll see what happens with it. Ravenous Hydra. Creature Hydra. It's got trample, baby. Ravenous Hydra enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters. This is one card I didn't look over. So with X +1/+1 counters on it, it takes 2 + X. When Ravenous Hydra enters the battlefield, choose one of the following. Double the number of +1/+1 counters on Ravenous Hydra. Or Ravenous Hydra may fight with target creature you don't control. I like that it has that 0/1. It's not like a 0/0, you know. Well, then it would just die. But being that it has a 0/1, that extra 1 toughness can go a long way. You know, when you fight it against something, you have 4 tough, or your Ravenous has 4 toughness. Their creature has 4 toughness, but you got that 5, buddy. Or I'm sorry, power. You got 4 power. They got 4 power, but you got that 5 toughness. You can win a match really quick with that, you know, or not win the match. You can win that fight. Take out a creature. I do like that. I think it's pretty decent. But again, it's just another Hydra. We've seen this a billion times. Goblin Ringleader and Ember Hauler. Alrighty then. Goblin Ringleader. Really, really cool card. Definitely. It's a reprint. Haste. This creature can attack and tap as soon as it comes under your control. When Goblin Ringleader enters the battlefield, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. Put all Goblin cards revealed this way into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. That is sweet because a lot of Goblin decks run a lot of Goblins. So the odds of you hitting a Goblin is going to be immense. At least 2, maybe 3 in some situations. Maybe crazy enough you might hit all 4 with Arena, how it runs 13 land decks, you know. I mean, who knows? But 13 land deck with this thing is probably not going to work out too well for you. You might want to reconsider your 13 land deck. But still, Goblin Ringleader, very powerful card. Then you have Ember Hauler over here. It's a deuce drop. Goblin for 1, sacrifice Ember Hauler. It deals 2 damage to any target. Pretty basic, pretty simple. I like it. Take out some threats, of course. Pretty cool. It's like a shock on a stick. You got to pay deuce. Angelic Cleric. This thing's cool. Whenever an angel enters a battlefield under your control, you gain 4 life. Remember, they just came out with that 1-drop angel from Modern Horizons. Just saying it's in there. That's crazy. This thing's only a 2-drop to bring out, so you gain 4 life off of that. This is in a different format, of course. That's pretty cool. But they also have that other angel. It's a 3-drop angel that just came out in Standard. That would be cool with this card as well. You're gaining the 4 life. And with the other angel that you benefit, you know, I think it's if you gain 5 life or more, you get to put a 4/4 angel token onto the battlefield. That's nuts. Because that would make you gain the 4 life again when that thing hits at your end step. That is nutty, man. Whenever an angel you control dies, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. I think Wizards wants to see angel or life gain angel decks just be number 1. They want to see top 8. They want it to go all the way. I'm telling you, if there's any time for an angel deck to really succeed and be number 1, you're looking at this upcoming meta for sure. This is looking really powerful, man. Loving it. And it's the white spirit creature tokens, of course. Next, we got Planner Cleansing. This is a reprint. I couldn't find the M20 version of it, though. I could not find it. The Core 20, I just could not. Destroy all non-land permanents. You know why this is really cool? Because it destroys planeswalkers. It doesn't just leave them on the battlefield. It's destroy all non-land permanents, where a lot of mass removal we have right now, a lot of the board wipes, they don't deal with planeswalkers. I think there's only one out there that does. So this being added to the meta is pretty sweet also. Now, it is a steep casting cost, but still, it's a powerful spell, man. Destroy all non-land permanents. What more do you want from it? Pretty sweet to see Planner Cleansing coming back. Leyline of Combustion. I believe this is a newer one. 4-drop. If Leyline of Combustion is in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. Whenever you and or at least one permanent you control becomes a target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, Leyline of Combustion deals 2 damage to that player. Talk about a great sideboard card. Leyline of Combustion is all that in a bag of chips. I do like it. I wonder just how good it's going to be because it hasn't been tested yet, but it seems like there is some potential there. That is pretty sweet. Leyline of the Void. This thing was $50. Can you believe that? This thing was $50. That is just insanity. But for good reasons. A 4-drop. If Leyline of the Void is in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. If a card will be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile instead. Yep, that shuts down some decks. I hate to say it, but it really does. Very powerful card. It needed a reprint really bad. I'm sure the price now is tanking down to about $20. We might even see it hit an all-time low of like probably 5 to 10. I would not doubt it. With it getting a reprinted rare, yeah, you can bet your bottom dollar. These are all the spoilers today, guys. What do you think? Which one are you most excited for? Did you fall victim of the ley lines? I hope not. Are you excited about the cleansing? The angelic cleric? Angels are going to be a crazy huge thing. Goblins are going to be nasty as all can be. Ravenous hydra? It's just another hydra. Don't get too crazy around it. The punitive one? No, probably not. But the white is looking so powerful. Flood of Tears is great. The Starfield Mystic. Theros is coming back, man. Forget about it. Zenith Seeker for your commander guys out there and gals. Dungeon Geist. I mean, there's so many sweet cards that came out today. The Field of the Dead, and of course, Hanged Executioner. What is going on with that dude, man? Like, he's dead already. He's the Executioner, and he's hanging himself. He must not have liked his job much, I'm assuming. Leyline of Anticipation being redone. Cards with protection. Legion's End. I mean, there's so many good cards that came out. Let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions. I hope you're excited for M20. I'm excited for Core Set 2020. I think it's going to be better than 19. And I think it's about darn time they gave some value to the rare slot. Hopefully Mythic doesn't get blown out because of it. Pretty sweet. I'm excited. I'm Joey Moss, Bad Boy Gaming. Skadoosh yourself. My Skadoosh bags. I'm going to do that right now. Giggity.